His whole book is about. He talks about how women have a pink megaphone that they speak out of, and they have a pink hearing aid that they listen with, while guys have a blue megaphone they speak with and blue earplugs or whatever they call it, earplugs. Yeah, earplugs pretty much most of the time. But hearing aids, and they come across differently, blue on blue and pink on pink. There's just a different way to communicate. Now, on the screen here. Oh, okay. This kind of points this out, the way that women speak and men hear. Here's what he heard his wife say. You're way too stupid to drive alone in bad weather at your age. Here's what she actually said. Drive carefully, dear, right? Guys, do you ever do that though? Your wife says something really, loving and kind and real gentle and so forth, but you just totally interpret it differently. You kind of get an attitude about it. I know she said it, but I know what she means. She's like, okay, here's what she said. What he heard his wife say, honey, why don't you put your head in a vise and I'll turn the handle until your skull explodes. Guys, hear this when she actually said, honey, why don't you turn off the football game and let's just sit and talk a while. Is that true or not? That's true, right? No. All right, what she heard her husband say. It's your lot in life to stop whatever it is you're doing in order to serve my every need. What he actually said, honey, do you know if we have any more AAA batteries? Come on, you know it's true. What she heard him say, life as we know it will cease to exist unless you can alter the space-time continuum. What he actually said, honey, are you almost ready? You had that this morning, didn't you?
No.
Oh, yeah, that's right. We had a 2 o'clock start this morning. What he heard his wife say, I'm going to make you wish you were dead for the rest of the week. What she actually said, tell me the truth, honey. Do I look fat in these? All right, Ephesians 5:21. That's still true, though, isn't it? Ephesians 5:20. Now here's the foundation for building a great marriage. He says in Ephesians 5:21, submit to one another out of reverence for Christ. The basis of a great marriage is mutual submission to one another. That's the place where our relationships, not with just our spouses, but really good relationships all around, friendships, relationships with our kids, relationships with our fellow employees, but especially relationships with our wives, they begin with this mentality of submitting to one another out of reverence for Christ. There's this mutual desire to serve one another. But Ephesians 5:33 is sort of the theme that we're going to launch from this morning. It says, however, each one of you must love his wife as he loves himself, and the wife must respect her husband. So the commandment here, there's 2 commandments. And they're specific. To the wife, it's respect your husband. To the husband, it's love your wife. And there's countless studies that have been done that show that men really desire to be respected. And of course, we know that when they're respected, they feel loved. That's how they feel loved. And God, obviously, is so amazing. He puts this in the Bible thousands of years ago. It's kind of funny because there's this guy named John Gottman at the University of Washington. He wrote this big thesis on why marriages succeed and fail. He says, we now know what makes marriages succeed or fail: love and respect. Okay, so he spent thousands of dollars, did all this research, and if he just read his Bible, he could have figured that out sooner, right? But here's the thing. The Bible said this a long time ago. People for years and years and years have kind of thought this and known this, but the Bible has laid it out, and God's Word is so true. It's always right. And it says 2,000 years ago that love and respect are really the foundation to build a great marriage. And some Yahoo scientist has to come along, and somebody will listen to him because he did some research and figured that out. But God said it a long time ago. But there are differences, and we respond to one another differently, respect and love. And he tells us, the husbands here, first of all, to love your wives. And obviously, that means that you've got to be able to tell your wife that you love her, right? I mean, that's sort of first base, isn't it? That if you love your wife, you're able to express that love with your words. That's sort of the beginning there. But he says, love your wives as Christ loved the church and gave himself up for her. So he says that guys, we've got to think in terms of really loving. But here's the thing. When you send your wife your Valentine's card this month, you're not going to, you're going to send her one, right? You're going to give her one. The Valentine's card doesn't say, I really respect you. I haven't ever read I'm 55 years old. We'll be married 29 years in May. I've sent my wife, or given my wife a Valentine's card every year because she likes Valentine's cards. But I've never seen one that says, I really respect you. It's always some form of, I really, really love you. Women want to be loved, and they really respond to that. There's a guy, his name is Gene Apple. He says, when Jesus wanted to reach out to us, what did he do? God came into our world and met us where we are. That's why he was called Emmanuel, which is translated God with us. And the point here is that he says, if guys, if we're going to feed and care for our wives as Christ does the church, we're going to have to get down off our high horse, he says this, and step out of our world of career and self-importance and step out of our world of sports and into the world of our wives and nurture them and fill their soul. So he's talking about really loving like Jesus loved. Jesus took the form of flesh, came and dwelt among us. He says, as men, we've got to go to some chick flicks. That's the big challenge this morning. Take your wife to a chick flick, okay? No, but he says that you've got to learn to relate to them where they are, because that's how God relates to us. That's how Jesus loved the church. He came and dwelt among us. He was a part of us. He came to where we are. And his point is that as men, we tend to get all macho and we don't want to relate to our wives the way God related to us. And so he lays it on out there. But he says, but the point there is thinking in terms of how to express my love to my wife in order for her to feel the love that I really want her to feel. And the bottom line there is we need to really love our wives. And it's interesting that husbands are commanded to love their wives, whereas the wives are not ever commanded to love their husbands. It seems as if loving your husband is easier than, or it's not easier, but it's more natural for the wives to love their husbands because they don't need the command. Now, if you've been married for a while, then you know that sometimes your wife loves you even when she doesn't like you very much. I mean, you know that what I'm saying, guys? Like, you know that she's not very happy with you, but you don't doubt that she loves you. I don't know, that's been my experience, that I've never doubted that Karen loved me. I thought she was going to, when we were first married, she threw a cup at me once and some things like that. But I never doubted. I even knew she loved me when she did that because I knew she was a little fired up there. But it seems like that women are wired more to love. They're more nurturing. I know I'm stepping on kind of holy ground here in terms of the feminist movement and all that stuff. That we got women are stronger now and tougher now and all those things. But bottom line, God did make them male and female. There is a difference there, and we have to respect and work with where we are. And I'm not saying that there aren't exceptions to this. I'm just saying, generally speaking, this is the way the world works, right?
You're right.
Can you go with that?
Yep.
Now, now some guys are sitting there this morning, they're thinking, you know what, that's true. I need to really love my wife. And but I can hear some guys saying, what about times when my wife is not that lovable? The times when she's on that little broomstick and she's got that little pointed hat on, What about those times? What about those times, right?
I wasn't saying that.
And, I know some of the girls or sisters are thinking, how am I going to respect this moron that I'm living with? The guy, he's just totally he's clueless. Well, again, it's not really a feeling. God's not commanding us to feel a certain way. God is commanding us to really do something, to express love, to express respect, right? That's the whole point here. And the thing is, husbands are commanded to express unconditional love to their spouses, to their wives, and the wives are commanded to respect their husbands. And here, one of the illustrations he uses in this book, it's called Love and Respect, or Respect and Love. I can't remember which one it was. But he says that love, your wife has this place in her that is for love, and too often we as men step on their air hose. We're always stepping on the air hose that kind of goes to that place of love. And so we're on the air hose, and maybe we didn't intend to step on it. We're just like, we're sort of doofuses sometimes, and so we step on the air hose, and she's choking because she's not feeling the love that we're supposed to be showing her. And he talks about really how that causes a lot of problems. If we're not realizing we're not expressing love in a genuine, sincere way, and yet, even when we're not intentionally doing it, our wives are suffering from that. And so we've got to be more aware, guys, that our wives really, really, really need for us to express love in genuine, specific, heartfelt ways throughout the day, throughout the week, and so forth. Amen, sisters?
Amen.
So he talks about this. She's crying out, I feel unloved by you now. I can't believe you're doing this to me. We're thinking, oh, what am I doing? I'm sort of clueless. And so, but he also talks about the alternative there, that men, on the other hand, can feel this disrespect. The wife is maybe she's not intentionally being disrespectful, but she's sort of on his air hose. He's needing this respect, but she's stepping on it. And maybe she's, sometimes we like, I don't know about you, but sometimes with my wife, I sort of like to just step on it just to see if, it's still working there. And I don't like that sometimes. But anyway, what happens when we do this, when we're stepping on her air hose that goes to the love, and she's stepping on our air hose, and what happens is, when we step on that, then she might get angry and then show some disrespect. And when that happens, she's on your air hose, and then you sort of respond to that, and then this vicious cycle starts, Lack of love for her, disrespect for him, then it spirals down in the toilet and it goes to a bad place, right? And then, you end up being divorced. And so a lot of it, though, comes from not doing the basic little things every single day that are important for us to make our wives feel loved, and our husbands, your husbands, to feel like they're being respected. I read a story about a couple who were having an argument about the kids, and they were giving each other silent treatment. And the guy, I hate it when my wife doesn't do the silent. I do the silent treatment. She doesn't do the silent treatment. But the guy realized he had to get up early the next morning to catch a plane. He never got up early. His wife always set the alarm clock for him, and you had to have it set for 5:30. This is at my house. I don't know how to set the alarm clock at my house. In fact, you're laughing, but that's true. I really don't. My wife, you can ask my wife after church here. She's in the kids' class, but you can ask her. I don't know how to set the alarm clock. And it's sort of it's one of those things where I don't know how to do the laundry either, but I do know it. You sort of like, if you don't know how to do it, nobody expects you to do it, right? Yeah. But anyway, he had to get up early to catch a flight, and he didn't know how to use the alarm clock. And so because he didn't want to break the silence, he wrote her a little note and said, "Please get me up at 5 o'clock. Okay? He woke up the next morning at 7:30, furious because he'd missed his flight, and getting ready to yell at his wife. He looked over at the pillow next to him, and there was a little note that said, "It's 5 a.m., wake up." Here's the thing, guys. Look, I always lose my battles with Karen. Karen's she's always a step ahead of me. Guys, we're a little bit slow on the draw there, but I've noticed that the wives are a little bit sharper. It's like, and I told the guys the other night, Wednesday night, I think at our men's meeting, that we all the guys that were there, I don't know, you'll know if your husband was there.